Welcome, everybody. This is The Real Deal with me, Larry Lawton, and my co-host, Ben.
What's up?
I have a special guest today. I have a New York cabbie, a friend of a friend. And now, he's exactly the same age as me. 17 days is pretty
I'd say that's close, yeah.
That's real close. So we're going to have a great time. He's going to tell some really good New York stories and stuff like that. But I want everybody to check out Gangster Redemption. It's a great book. You guys will love it. And a big one, September 1st. The Crooked Diamond is being released all over the world. We will be having a fucking. I think you should label those. We're going to be having a pre-release for those for the cigar. So we're coming up with everything, and I'm talking within the next week or two. Within a few days.
Here's the thing, probably a couple of days from now, you'll see the website's going to be up, thecrookeddiamond.com. It's actually crookeddiamondcigar.com. We just changed it. crookeddiamondcigar.com is where you'll be able to pre-order the Crooked Diamond. You can get a box. You can get special edition shirts. We've got cutters. We've got lighters. Check it out.
Oh, wow. It's going to be fun. And we're going to be doing a lot of promotion. Like, I'm sure him and I, we're going to be going everywhere and doing a whole bunch. There's another work thing they just want to put me on. That's all it is. Fucking motherfuckers. No, the cigar thing, just to tell you, Bob, it's really, I've been smoking cigars for 40 years. Since we're 20 years old. Less than that, probably. I remember my grandfather caught me stealing cigars. Back in the day, it was Optimo. Yeah. He made me sit down, fucking smoke that cigar. And I liked it.
Little did he know you enjoyed the hell out of it.
I fucking did. And you know that old thing where to get a guy that he's fucked up. But no, I actually liked it. And then, you smoke them and then you try different ones. And so then, when this deal came across the table, after we got a platform the way we have it, get your own cigar. This is going to be sold worldwide. I partnered with the third largest company in the world for this. Benz is running. He's a cigar guy. And listen, I like cigars, and I blended this cigar, meaning I actually, was in a big room and we take stuff. It was really pretty cool, And then I learned a lot. Obviously, until you there's people that like him. He can recognize a cutter from across the fucking room. Wow! Don't ask. It looks like a fucking penis snipper to me, but it fucking
it might be.
It's a pretty small fucking penis. That. But it's kind of cool having that, and this is really for a legacy thing, At our age, and I always say to people, Bob and I, everybody are the same age, so we're 60 years old. And I say to everybody, and I mean this, how much do we really have left to live? 15 years? That we're really 15, doing 20, everything, top. Yeah. Everybody says, do you think you're going to live to 85? Get the fuck out. And if you do, you're fucking going to be, do you get a hard on? Do you do this, do that? Listen, I could fucking drink, I could party right now with the best of them. And I want my life to go that way, you too. Yeah. But now we're going to get into something, Benz, and you're going to like this too.
All right.
You're talking about a New York cabbie. Now, Bob worked in New York. Did you work in the city? Where'd you work in New York?
It was Rockland County, but we did a lot of runs into the city.
You and I come from the same neighborhood in the Bronx. Yeah. Same borough.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's pretty close. And then, I just know because I'm just going to give my own cab story is because the Gambinos and the guys, we had My Way cab service. It was a cab service across the street. We owned it. But it was amazing because we'd send a car to go get somebody do this. And, I'm talking those kind of cabs. I don't know if it's that kind of cab you drove or was it a yellow cab?
So this guy, it was a little bit different because, when I started there, we were driving all brand new cars, all brand new Chryslers. There was Dodge Dynasties, there was Jeep Cherokees, there's taxis. And, you didn't have the light on the top. You had your magnets on the side. And that's what eventually came out with this guy was how crooked that he was, because I went to get a friend of mine a job there, and I told him who owned the place. And he says, man, that guy, I used to buy insurance from him, but he went to prison. I didn't know he was out, right? So I'm talking with the owner about, maybe 6 months later, and he says, listen, they put me in prison for 1 year, a federal prison. And they made me pay $1 million back. He said, but I stole 5, so,
it works out.
What a deal,
I'll do that deal over and
over. The year sucked, but the fucking, $1 million, not anymore for $1 million.
Well, what this guy did was, it was actually like a big insurance scam, right? So he would lease these cars from Dodge and say, hey, I'm on a rental car company, right? And then what he did was he used them as taxis. He leased them to cab companies in New York City. And then from the insurance end, he had his insurance license, him, his wife, his son. So they would, insurance at that time for a cab might have been $12,000 a year down in the city, right? So he'd say, yeah, and I got your insurance policy. Well, he would never pay it. He
didn't have insurance.
He pocketed all the money, the $12,000. And listen, that works because he also had a body shop. Like one time I got in an accident, and he just puts the car in his body shop and fixes the cab. He hands it back to Chrysler. They don't know the difference.
Yeah,
Right.
but what happens if someone gets hurt?
That's how it all went down, right? So,
You know?
so now people in New York, in the city, now they start to get injured. They look for the bills. There ain't no insurance company. And that's how it all went down. Now, the funny thing about this was he had us some nights, he'd give us a ride. Let's say we're going down, out to JFK. And he said, listen, on your way back, because he'd be, well, how much insurance agent works at, 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, right? He come down, who's going to JFK? Who's going to LaGuardia? Who's going to Newark, right? So, like one time I was going down to Newark, and he says, hey, on your way back, here's an address in Manhattan. Go drop this envelope off. And he tells me, when you knock on the door, gives me a secret knock. What is it, a freaking spy novel or something, So I drop the guy off at Newark. I go down to Manhattan, park on the street, do this knock. They go, who is it? Slide it under the door. I slide something under the door. Didn't mean anything to me, right? No, I'm working in Jersey.
Was it money? Or
it was paperwork. We found out later what it was. People get in accidents, and he was backdating their policies. So I said, oh, yeah, you need some insurance. Well, now he'd tell them, well, you give me $20,000, and I'll make sure, here's your paperwork and backdating the policies. Right?
Everybody's got a scam.
There's
man.
always a scam.
New York too, man. It's really crazy for scams. Yeah. So you work for a criminal, but was it a car service like I'm thinking?
No, it was a cab. You would call in. It was.
Do you guys have a medallion?
No, because it was outside of New York.
Oh, God. So you don't need it if you're not in the
Right.
city.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You know, those medallions were going for like fucking $1
million
million.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
They're down to like 150,000 because of Uber.
Yeah, I heard it was a little more, but like 200,000.
And all they get is like airport rights or something. Anyways, I don't know much about
It's
it.
insane.
No, it's crazy now. They really fucked that business
They
up,
did.
man.
They
You
did.
know, but Uber. No, I talk to Uber drivers. I take Uber a lot, obviously. So, and I talk to those drivers. How is it in New York? And they can make good money. Those guys.
Absolutely.
They beat their fucking car to death. I mean, beat it to death.
Oh, yeah.
And then and they work hard too. They know it. They know where to go. I could never fucking do it. Traffic. I hate fucking traffic.
So do I.
He hates traffic when he's not driving.
Right.
We were in Miami and we caught a little bit of traffic, and Larry was he was uneasy. He was sitting there.
I was a getaway driver. I did a lot of shit. So traffic was never good for you. But we're going to get into now. Okay, New York, a cabbie. Mm-hmm. There has to be some crazy stories. Like, did you have hookers in your car? Did you ever see someone getting blowjobs in a car? Have you seen a robbery in a car? Like, someone go take you to a robbery and go rob a bank and jump in your car?
No, I never had the robbery, but did have a couple who wanted to fool around the back of my cab as we were going down the Palisades Interstate Parkway, and all of a sudden, they start fooling around a little bit, and I'm not saying, anything, you adjust the mirror a little bit. Of course,
to watch, sure. Was it hard to drive with a hard on?
No, it was hands free.
I was driving with one hand. But the funny thing was, so she gets on top of him and she's facing the back.
They actually fucked. She didn't just blow him or something.
No.
Did she start out with the blowjob?
They started fooling around.
I'm loving this shit.
And you're hearing her, and he was like trying to, hey, and she goes, he doesn't mind. I go, hey, y'all do whatever you want back there, right? So she got all busy on this guy, and now there's a car behind us because we're in a Jeep Cherokee now. She's on top of him, bouncing up and down, and he's right behind us now with the brights on, So I'm like being nice, trying to give us some privacy. I'll move over here to this lane, move over here to this lane. But they finish up, and she was just like so excited. I always wanted to do that. Thank you so much. You know what? Nothing for a fucking tip.
I was just going to ask that. That was my next fucking question. Did you get at least a good tip?
No,
she just got fucking boned down in the back of the fucking car.
Tip, he got to see her ass bouncing up. That's the tip.
Yeah, but that's listen. He sees that on. But back then, you had to have a book for it. I'm sure. Back in we didn't have it like we did today.
Sears magazine.
I remember that. We did. But is that the only one you ever saw sex-wise, or no? You must have seen blowjobs and shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
there
that's
was
easy.
that.
I think I did that once.
Yeah. Especially in when you're in the car, and you had the bench seat there, so you really couldn't see. You knew what was going on and everything. And they get all quiet, but. You just give them their privacy, and hey, good for them,
Absolutely, I'm all for that. But today, I'm sorry, but I won't smoke that.
No, that's me. I told you I have a little
you
cold.
did tell me. Yeah, he's all right. He's got COVID, just to let you guys know.
Oh, shit.
No, I'm only kidding, of course. He called me last night, and he says, I got a cold, been tested. It's not. I said, come on over. Personally, I wouldn't give a shit anyway. I don't. I never bought into. I bought into. Obviously, it's real and all that, but it's not where I.
I'm not worried about it anymore.
Yeah,
I agree.
I've been vaccinated and all that.
Same
I did
here.
all that.
Yep. I tested positive ones, no symptoms.
Right.
So I mean, you just roll with it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
do as they say. I got to wear a mask at work. So.
Oh, you do now?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I was because we work for a government contractor. So when the CDC puts you on high, you go with that policy. So
wow,
I have an office, so most of the day I can have.
I
the
can't
mask off.
stand fucking masks. There's something about that. I almost like I'm
restricting.
claustrophobic. It's kind of like I have that since prison. I've become so fucking claustrophobic. I can't get in an open MRI machine.
No.
I mean, even on a plane, it kind of gives me a creeps. I mean, I just have it. I don't know what it is, and I never had that shit. And now it's like I guess being in a hole in the prison and all that kind of shit.
Yeah,
fucked you up.
I think so a little bit.
A little bit. You're fucking locked in. I can't even imagine it now. All that time in the box. I had 3 years in a hole. And I'm thinking, like, how the fuck, would I go crazy? I mean, I was going crazy anyway. No, there's no question. Everybody goes crazy. Anybody tells you they don't is fucking lying.
Yeah,
you go crazy. Yeah. We're social animals, and I am, obviously. And you start going crazy. You start figuring shit out. And then you do things to make yourself, like, I learned patience. I really did, because I used to sue them, and I used to have, I'd write, briefs, and I'd write motions. I'd write everything on paper in a pencil. And then you mail it out. By the time it gets there, it's over 30 days, comes back and everything else. Because they only have 30 days to answer certain things.
Yeah.
And you learn patience. Because in today's world, there's everything. Even now, instant fucking porn. I got Pornhub. I think I got it on speed. And I got it in my favorites.
Bookmarks.
Yeah, bookmarks.
I got to learn that patience. If you got any hints there, give me a...
Patience, I was forced to have it. Obviously, New Yorkers are very hard. You know how we are. We're fast-moving people. Yeah. I tell everybody, you want a business, hire a Northeastern kid. Boston, Philly, Jersey, New York. They're fast. They're fast. They had to survive. They were quick. You remember jobs we used to have to get. Today, these kids they live in a different world,
Yeah, they do. It's funny. I went up to New York City first time. I probably hadn't been there about 10 years. So we go to Times Square, stay with the wife. And I go walking out of Times Square. It's dusk, and I'm looking around trying to get my bearings. And some guy comes walking by me and clips me right in the shoulder and actually spins me around, right? So I look at him, and my wife goes, "Oh, no, don't fight, baby, cool." And I go, "You know what?" I said, I miss that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. It's like,
you're
getting on a train, get the hell out of the way.
That guy did that in fucking New York. I mean, in prison. That's not good.
Similar story to yours, going back to Philly. This was a couple of years ago. We went to visit, and coming out of the airport with a rental car, somebody cuts us off, and my wife is, she's looking at me, and I go, God, I love driving in Philly, This is what I miss over here. Everybody's asleep at the wheel, I like the go-get.
It's really bad down South Florida. Of course, there's a lot of illegals. There's Haitians and people who don't have licenses.
Or insurance.
And they're driving the slowest. You can pay, they're so stupid. The cop picks out a guy who's going 45 in a 45 zone. He's fucking, something's wrong.
Something's wrong,
it's fucking something wrong.
It's the guy that's going 55 that has nothing to worry about.
He don't give a shit. Right. Are we going to get him to bust his chops? That's one thing. But, when you're doing the speed limit, go to 95 and do 70.
Right.
You'll be fucking like cops will stop you for sure.
Yeah.
And I used to know that because even when we were robbing jewelry stores, we'd be going north. We didn't just go exactly the speed limit. You went over, you kind of flow with traffic. That's the best way to do it.
Drive with the flow of traffic is exactly what I do when I'm ditching the cops after a race.
He's a street racer.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Not officially.
No, not on this podcast he isn't, but, after the podcast.
Well, now that the cat's out of the bag completely, let's go meow. This is a good segue to a question that I have for you. Have you ever gotten pulled over in the cab?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I did one time.
It's a good one.
But I mean, was going to get a ticket once. You explained. I did a U-turn where I shouldn't have, right? Other times, you'd run a red light and when there's no traffic around, and because you're driving around this unmarked car, it was a taxi. They may give you a slide, but the cops knew our business. They didn't know who the hell owned it, whatever. We'd help them out with DUIs, that whole type of thing. They needed some. But one time I went to this one drug house, and I don't forget the address.
You dropped somebody off.
You remember the address?
Oh, yeah. Because it was such everybody.
He'll never forget. You had to be a New Yorker.
Well, here's one reason why you did it, right? Everyone's buying weed and shit at this house.
Right.
And it was on High Avenue. It's like, what a
I love it.
name, right?
I love it.
284 High Avenue, and then you get the call at 2 in the morning, round trip to 284 High, they're going inside. So
Do you wait for them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You make them pay the fare before they go in, or do you wait to take the whole thing on the way
you have
back?
the regulars, and I would usually wait for them to go. It's, for a local, it's $3. You're gonna screw me out of $3. I'll see you on the street, get out and kick you in the knee, and then drive away.
Yeah, it's not a big.
There's my $3.
Right, exactly. I had one guy chase through the woods. I used to have a spotlight. I'm like, I want to make this bastard earn his $3. I wasn't gonna go out and confront him. He just keeps running away, and I'm like, he just ran 2 miles for fucking $3.
There you works out.
When we were kids. Probably Mark told you. We lived in a place called Locust Point. We had 4 blocks, so we'd go. Well, let's just take a Yankee game or whatever, 161st Street, and that's late. You don't want to take the train, so we'd all jump in a cab. We'd beat the cab every fucking time. The guy comes down the block. We don't even have to tell each other. We look at each other. We know, because none of us live at the address we gave him. Right. None of us live there. So it's an address that's bullshit, but we know that, you know the street, you go through the backyard, bop, all hit one door. He's done. But, I look back at that, and that's, obviously it's petty, but it was what kids did, we used to have to take a cab from Yankee Stadium, because if you got out of Yankee Stadium at night, you fucking fight.
It's insane, yeah.
It's 161st Street. That's a Grand Concourse. It's fucking a riot. So fucking, and a white boy down there? Nah, that's not going to happen. So you really, it's fight time,
Yeah.
It's, let's talk about another question, because you had a great question there. You get stopped by the cops in a cab. Yeah. Do they actually, I've been in New York my whole life. I've never, ever been stopped. Cops don't give a shit about fucking tickets. I mean, I've never seen a cop, give you a ticket.
Deal with.
Yeah, I've never been stopped in a ticket.
Really?
Never in my whole. And I'm a crazy driver. And I got stopped this last time I was up in New York, or not last couple times, and I was on my phone. It's a $250 ticket. If you're on your phone.
That'll hit your horn in Midtown now, or at least that was when Bloomberg was in.
That's still around.
Yeah.
What is it?
You can't use your horn in Midtown.
You can't?
No.
Center City, Philly, same thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm sitting there, and my wife's like, "Look, there's a sign." I go, "What the hell has this city come to, man?"
Wow.
That's the sounds of New York City.
It's
no
not
shit.
only. Yeah, you're right. I agree with that, by the way. That sound is soothing to me. Exactly. That train. Remember, me and Larry listening to a train the other day where we were driving somewhere.
And he's looking, he goes, "You like that, don't you?" Yeah, it's something about the train, the old, the yell.
The sirens, the people, because when I was graduated 8th grade, and then so for 9th grade, we moved up Rockland County, where I lived there for a while. And it was the country, You sleep at night, all you hear is a cricket. And I'm like, is somebody trying to break into the house?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so quiet. There was
too
sirens, there's no trains,
Yeah.
no couples fighting, What the hell's going on over here?
Where I lived in Locust Point, I was right at the base of the Throgs Neck Bridge. Yeah. So out back, there's trucks all night and all this shit. It becomes second nature. You don't even know what's going on. People say, how do you live there? It's
background noise.
It's background noise.
I like it. I enjoy it.
You actually can go to sleep.
It's soothing to me.
Yeah.
Now, here's a question. This is going to be another question that you might know. Now, the audience is, I'm explaining it after I ask the question. Have you ever taken anybody to Hunts Point?
No, I have not. That's a big hooker.
Yeah. Hunts Point's where we got blowjobs. I got my first blowjob for $5. It was $5 blowjobs, $5 for a fuck, and you can get a half and half and all this kind of crazy shit.
What's a half and half cost?
A half for $10. Half this, half that, and then I think it was $15 for a shot total. Now they used to stand around a 55-gallon drum in the wintertime. Fucking we're all bundled up and it's on fire and shit. And the first thing we learned when you're kids is you take your pants down, obviously, so she starts blowing you. And what you have to do is make sure you take your wallet and put it in your glove compartment or somewhere else, because here's what they do. She's blowing you. She already got your wallet in her hand. Then she'll scream, "Cops, cops!" And you're grabbing up your pants. She jumps out of the car. She's gone, and your wallet's fucking gone.
Ugh.
And it happened to so many people, but not me. I mean, I got lucky, but I didn't. I really wouldn't do that. I mean, I'm only just telling you what others did.
Exactly.
It was really fucking crazy, man. But Hunts Point was a big. That's why I thought you'd go there from the Bronx. Well, you weren't in the Bronx. Yeah. You were from Rockledge, right?
Yeah. And it was fun. Yeah. So when I was driving the cab, I was up there in Rockland. And,
Rockland County. Okay, I got you, guys. That's pretty far, actually. So you went into the city?
Yeah. I mean, it was only 20 miles up the PIP when you were at the George Washington. Wow. So that's where we did a lot of our runs, was we do them in...
The Palisades, right up there, yeah. Yep. Did you go to West Point and all that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
the West Point wasn't far at all.
Yeah, I got off to the golf course right there, right near West Point. It's right on that. It's like that. People don't know how hilly that is.
Oh yeah,
That's a lot of
way up
hills
there,
and stuff.
yeah.
My brother lived in Rockland County, I think it was. He lived near the Nyack, the bridge.
Yeah, the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Tappan Zee Bridge.
Well,
up
now, they name it Cuomo now. I'm not phone.
Oh no.
Another one, another fucking fucker. Hey.
We were down in the Bahamas, my wife and I, and we're at a bar and talking to the bartender. And he says, "Yeah, I got, my daughter lives up in Westchester." And we said something about, well, we live right across the Tappan Zee Bridge. And the bartender in Bahamas goes, "Fuck Cuomo. Why did he change the name of that bridge?"
And that's somebody in the Bahamas.
Yeah, exactly.
Goes to show you how far.
Somebody got drunk there the night before talking about, God damn that bridge.
Another one. Have you ever been robbed?
Never robbed.
I mean, beaten. I don't mean like what I did or we did as kids.
We had, people who maybe 4 or 5 who did that beating out on us. But it was funny. One time I picked these guys up at their house and I dropped them off at a bar. It was a $10 charge. And then I get called to pick them up at the bar and drop them off back at their house, right? So we pull in the driveway and the guy goes, "Hey man, what if we just run out and don't pay? What are we going to do? What if we beat your ass or kill you?" And I go, "Oh dude," first of all, next time use a different address, right? And the guy goes, "Yeah, that's a good idea."
Real fucking rocket scientist right there, right?
Plus, you're gonna fucking beat a fucking guy down and kill him for $10.
Yeah.
Sadly, New York is fucking.
Motherfuckers are like that.
I mean, the worst I saw in prison was a guy get killed for a cigarette holder pack. Remember the little plastic? Holder fucking cigarettes for fucking $1, something, for whatever the fuck it was. 80 cents. I don't know.
That's prison. I mean, I'm talking about the free world here.
Yeah, the free world's fucking pretty fucked up, man. And you know that.
The people in prison had to have gotten there somehow, right?
Fucking right. Yeah, they're the ones that robbed.
They came from the free world.
They went a little lower because they're in prison now. They fucking kill you for a fucking cigarette pack.
Well, they robbed one cab driver. The guy was Smitty, and he picked him up at Nyack Hospital, and they hit him over the head, yanked his radio out, went running away. Right?
They hurt him, so
They
that was
hit
a real
the
arm
wrong
runner.
freaking cab driver. And if that was me, I'm just a punk. This guy was a retired cop from the city of the South.
Oh, shit.
Right? And he had 6 sons. The smallest that was 6'3", 250. So they didn't even have to worry about the cops. And of course, it's snowing out, so they go running across. They followed their footprints right to their house. And the cops grabbed them. They were 16 years old, 17.
The kids that did that?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I was a criminal, obviously. And you didn't do something like that just to do it. It was always money. It was always something. We always had a motive, and it was always money. I mean, it was always getting laid. Something, do something. Nobody just beat people up to fucking beat them up for bullshit. I mean, we weren't criminal. We robbed Pathmark, and we robbed all the fucking stores out the back. Somebody works there, and we're fucking taking all the fucking.
It's about
food
gain.
out.
It wasn't about hurting somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, and you do even with robbing. What I did with jewelry stores, never ever hurt anybody because you just were there for a goal. What you did today. And again, I never, ever talk about on this show that, it was right. Because I knew it was wrong.
Well, Larry, nobody ever asked you the question, what happens when they didn't comply?
They all complied.
Yeah.
Trust me.
He's very persuasive.
He's looking me right in the eye when he says they all comply. And I know that there's a story behind it. Maybe we'll catch up on that.
There's a few. There's a few.
Well,
fucking crazy. They're crazy, but I was a little bit crazier, so it didn't work for them. But I do have a few of them. We're gonna have to.
That's a good one.
We'll do something. I've never even said that on my videos.
Oh, there you go. There's a topic.
Yeah, because it's gonna make me look like a real fucking animal.
You know what? It is what it is. You spent the time. You came out. You're a better person now. You could talk about it.
Oh, okay, Doc. Fuck, here's my fucking psychologist over there. And if he's my psychologist, I'm real fucked up.
Oh, yeah. And how does that make you feel? How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
You want to lean back?
Let me go. You just went for fucking some therapy shit.
It wasn't therapy. It was hypnotism.
Yeah, okay. You believe in that shit.
I do. I like it. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, was she hot or something at least?
She was good looking, yeah.
Oh, so is that what it was?
It had nothing. Your eyes are closed. You ain't seen her.
So you actually did that shit? Oh, man. I could never do it. I'm such a New Yorker. Hypnotize me. You want to fucking get in my head? You're all fucked up then.
Yeah.
So
I hear it works, but
I don't judge. I don't judge.
You heard? He just.
Have you ever been to a hypnotist or anything like that?
No.
No, you don't believe in that stuff.
No, I think you can, but you know what they say is there's certain people can't be hypnotized and some people can't.
Sure.
So you really got to focus on what they're saying. I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't feel like I was truly hypnotized.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think I could be. I really don't. Maybe it's just my analytical brain that always questions things and stuff. That's that New Yorker in us, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's it's so hard. But this is funny. You're a New Yorker. Have you ever been scammed?
I don't know. You mean like on the street or something? I don't really think so.
I'll tell you what happened to me
so,
as a scam. I'm fucking down in Manhattan. I'm down in Little Italy. Just did a job with money, crazy money. And, the guys come up to your window and they got the camera and it's really rocks, but you don't know. And it's not, hey, man, I just, hey, listen, I don't know, but yeah, you're not a cop, are you? Yeah. This camera, I'll give you $400. It's $1,000 fucking camera. Give you $200. Now, fuck you. Now you try to negotiate with him like you're the fucking smart one. Right. And you get it for $100. You open the fucking thing, it's rocks.
Right.
And I got laughing at myself. I said, a con can get conned, or and it's funny because you know it too right after you do it. Mm-hmm. As a New Yorker, I says, and I mean it's not like you like my mother or something like that. It's like you're a street guy, and you could still get robbed and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Let's go back to some cabbie stuff.
So were talking about the hookers and everything, right? So there was this one hooker would always come in at night.
She used the cab.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you got to know her.
Oh yeah.
Get a break on anything?
Did I what?
You get a break, like a cheaper
that's what she
blowjob or
offered me
something?
one day, right? So some of the guys said, hey, on your nights off, she's always in here asking for you, right? So I pick her up one night at her house, right? Now she's going to work, and she starts to, hey, you're a good-looking man and everything. It's a man's right to cheat on his woman. You know that. She was, I'll give you a good price break and everything. I think you're good-looking and everything. And I'm telling her, nah, that's okay. I'm happily married, this and that.
Are you still married?
Yeah.
So now you can't tell it.
Yeah.
So he can't tell us the actual way.
Tell the real story now.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the filtered story.
Yeah.
No. But I would tell these stories. But this is the funny thing about her, right? So she says, if you don't like the way I look like, I got other girls that work for me and everything, She says, I spoke to a couple and I think you're cute. She says, let me ask you something. She says, do you have American Express? And I look at her, but this is like 1992.
Yeah.
And I go, you take a credit card? And she starts laughing. She goes, man, you white boys are all alike. American Express, a condom, don't leave home without it.
I love it. That's great. Fucking, I mean, I had my share of hookers, obviously, throughout my life. And I remember, from good ones in Vegas to fucking, $1,000 ones to fucking the street ones, And this, I'm not really into the hookers per se. I like to get it. I feel like it's conquering. Unless
really?
I'm gonna.
That's conquering. Here's $20.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not. Now, don't get me wrong. Listen, when the right timing and stuff, you want a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1, you're doing this or whatever. You get a bachelor party, you get a couple of them. We rented a boat over here once, and I beat a case. Well, I beat a case. I had a case where I shot up my car, and Joe was waiting.
I know that story very well.
Joe is waiting for me at the boat. My lawyer come from South Florida, and here it is, in the courthouse, and we got a boat, a 65-foot Hatteras waiting for us. On the boat is 2 fucking hookers and the crew, my buddy Joe, food, booze. And now who's coming on the boat is my lawyer and I after the case. So we're supposed to be at 9 o'clock. First up here is 9:20, 9:30. What the fuck? It's 9 o'clock. It's the judge. My lawyer kept saying, Larry, it's not 9 o'clock. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not 9. It's 9:25. He goes, yeah, it's 9 o'clock when that judge walks through the room. And I'm getting madder and madder. Like, fuck, what this fucking thing? I got to go on the fucking boat. Man. So we get through the case. I ended up getting probation, but I give a fuck. I shot up my car up here in Joe's parking lot.
The reason he shot his car is fucking hilarious. He drove on, the little parking stops?
Yeah,
he drove over one, and his car lost traction. So basically, the wheels. So he gets out of the car. He's like, if he shoots it, it'll start going. That makes sense.
So now I know why he got fired from his job as a mechanic.
Yeah.
The guy came in for an oil change. I shot up the car.
I am so non-mechanically inclined. I can do certain things if I have to and want to.
I just seen you fuck with the RV.
Yeah, that's because putting water in it and emptying the tanks and all that, so it's ready to go.
There you go.
I didn't. It's not like I'm gonna fix the fucking shit my brother fucking crashed. Did you see it all?
Yeah. I was there. Remember?
Oh yeah. Yes, you were. He blames you to this day.
He was going forward.
He blames you. He says
he could blame me.
He keeps blaming you. He goes, he was directing me. I didn't fucking. All I know is it's gonna cost me about $6,000.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
All because he. I'm not going.
I might put insurance. I don't even know.
You got insurance? I know a guy who'll backdate it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That is good.
All right, so get back. So
So
things
you're
in
talking
the
about being
cab.
pulled over by the cops,
Okay.
right? So one time I got pulled over by the cops. I picked the guy up there on High Avenue, right? Get like 2 blocks away, and the cops light us up, like 3 of them. So they must have been waiting for this guy, right? And they jump out of the car. They got the get out, passenger out of the car, passenger out of the car. So they questioned me real briefly. They knew I was a cabbie. So they're like, all right, they just take this guy away, right? All of a sudden I'm like,
Where's my money?
yeah,
pay your fare.
exactly. And I'm thinking, I wonder if he left something in the back seat, Sure enough, man, the guy left like 3 bags of weed in the back seat, right?
Perfect.
And he stuffed them down the back. And the cops didn't even bother searching the car.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, shit, that's cheaper than the $3 the bastard was going to pay me, right? So I went, gave him to the dispatcher, because that's what you do. You give the dispatcher shit, and he give you free calls and everything. And
Right, you take care of it.
You had it down there. I bet the cabbies made pretty good money in New York.
Well, in New York City, they certainly do. Up where we were, you had to really hustle for it. And what it was this guy, let me say he was a crook, right? So he would charge you fairly. You had the radio you pay every night, and then you paid a fee for the car. So it was like, to start out the night, you was like $10 you were in the hole. And then you paid for half your gas, and you got half the fares, right? So some nights, it was tough. You got some good runs, but the dispatcher would let you go, like, if I went somewhere, like on those drug runs, round trip, you only put them down for 1. You pocket the rest of the half and everything as far as that goes.
Fucking New York. Is this so
There's
funny?
always a
Because you
scam.
didn't have a meter.
No.
There was no meter. So that to me, that's called a cost service.
Yeah.
It wasn't the meter.
A limo
No,
service.
no. They have actual cost services, they're called.
Yeah.
Like My Way was a cost service. They could be whatever cars they are, and they got on the side of them. And it's like a 666. And people
Always
call
a
from their house.
crazy, easy number to remember,
Yep.
right?
And people call from their house. I mean, and you get to know them, like you said, and because in New York, who fucking wants to really? I mean, cars, that. Forget Manhattan. Yeah. Manhattan was cabbies. You just go downstairs and grab a cab everywhere. Or the trains. I mean, if you know how to go from 125th Street down to the Battery, just jump on the train. It's it's quicker than a fucking car, believe it or not.
Yeah.
With the traffic and shit
Same
like
thing
that.
in Philly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, same thing. I was just up in Boston. That was a way to get around there. Zip, zip, take the T,
Oh, really? I had a Gumata up in Boston, in Medford, Mass. I used to go up there every month to go fuck her. And we used to stay at this beautiful place. It was like a castle or some shit, and it was really nice. And she was fucking hot as fucking shit. At that time, I don't know, was I married? No, I wasn't married. She was married.
What is that, a 3-hour drive?
No, more than that. Boston was probably
Maybe
5
4.
hours.
No way.
Probably, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
5 hours from Philly. I don't think so.
Yeah.
5 hours
Boston's
from
farther
Philly,
than
New
Philly.
York's
Yeah,
about an hour
5.
and a
Like,
half.
I don't know.
Right,
Look it up here. Yeah, we got the internet.
Yeah.
MapQuest.
MapQuest.
Hey Siri.
We haven't used
How
MapQuest since
far
Larry
is it
came
from
out of
New York
prison.
City to Boston?
Oh, wow, he's doing it.
He's doing it. There we go. We're going to get the answer.
Is about 216 miles from New York.
216 miles,
216
4
miles.
hours.
Yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah,
About 4
yeah,
hours.
yeah.
That's about right. And I mean, but I used to fly. Anyway, I didn't even drive. I used to fly. Yeah, fuck it.
By the time the plane gets to its elevation, it comes back down.
But it's a lot quicker.
Yeah,
and
well,
back
sure.
then it was airports. You didn't have to have a fucking thing. There was no security. I mean,
Yeah,
very
well,
little.
you show up 10 minutes before the flight, they
Oh,
let you on.
You
Now.
pay cash with a fake fucking name. They didn't even give it. There was no IDs and shit.
I'm old enough to remember those days.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember because that was after 9/11 is
Yep.
when everything changed. I mean, it changed everything. 2001.
And it's still exactly the same way it became after 9/11.
Yeah, and
didn't
it
get any
hasn't
more
got any
lax.
better.
No.
No, and it hasn't got better. I mean, it's just a pain in the ass. And I read all the shit they find. Not find. Adult gets through. People got, man, I had a gun on me. I fucking got it through.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You know what I mean?
But there is one big benefit out of all of that. And Daniel Tosh, you guys ever listen to
Oh,
Daniel?
yeah. He's from here,
Tosh
Yeah, yeah, he's from
Titusville. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear him do that skit on with the airlines? He says, one thing we got to thank Osama bin Laden for, when we drop our girlfriends off at the airport, we don't have to stand there and wave at the plane.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Right.
Remember guys used to go, I remember.
You
Grandpa.
can't go past the gate, so might as well drop her off at the
Exactly.
entrance and go on your way. That's it.
And it was another thing back in those days, and you'll remember this, you had to almost dress up to go on a plane.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It wasn't like today wearing sweatpants and fucking a shirt or shorts or whatever it is you want to put on there.
Seats were bigger.
Yeah, that's another thing, man.
You were more comfortable
But
then than
I
you
don't
are
know if they
now.
were bigger. I was just smaller. Now I'm so fucking wide. When you're big, you're wide, and you hit something. You always hit your shoulder, hitting somebody. I
hate that.
I hate fucking planes.
Yeah, we were on a flight coming back from Antigua, my wife and I, and it's getting near the end of the flight. And it's like, okay, well, who's going to sit in the third seat? And this monster comes out. And our eyes met, and he goes, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You know, when that guy's coming down, everybody's got a seat next to him. Is like fucking like, it's like a lottery. You know, you fuck, damn. He got me.
Yeah, he was a good guy, though, man.
Yeah, but he fucking, man, you can't even move. I mean, I took a flight from here to Vegas, and I vowed never to take non-first class, and then we got stuck. We tried to upgrade.
Oh my God!
We got stuck, but I said I'm not, and it's not about being, you know, have to have something.
We're not bougie.
It's not bougie.
Comfortable.
It's really comfortable, and when you're doing that, especially JetBlue, they got those lay down chairs. You know, it's called Mint, and they actually could lay down. You could be flat. And I loved it because I took it with, they had this mask, and I fucking rolled over and fucking took my mask
Close
off.
the little thing off.
No, it didn't have that thing, but you could turn like towards my head was. He did my son tell you what happens? I'm looking at porn on the thing, and he says to me on my phone, and my son goes, "Hey, Pop, everybody can see it's right in the mirror. The reflection is the fucking thing right in the fucking. You know what I mean? In the window." And I'm fucking laughing. Then I'm saying, because I said, fuck it. What am I gonna watch to go to bed?
People, well, here's the thing: that you got people in the other that could see you watching porn. They're like, "Fuck, my Facebook won't load because this motherfucker's taking up all the
all the data." Yeah. Hey, fuck it, man. I got on there first. Okay, go back to cabbies.
So we had, you know, a lot of the fun with a lot of the goofy ass cab drivers. You know, we had one guy we started, and he drove like a maniac. That's why I told him, "Hey, you should get a job driving a cab."
Well, so, at this point, I got one question for you. Did you know you didn't have insurance?
No. I'm thinking everything's good because I was in that one accident. They fixed the car. I never got any hassles. About 2 years later, I get a call, and they're like, you know, hey, you were driving this car, and the insurance inspectors called me, and I said, you know what, you ain't ever getting that money because here's the funny story about the cab. So remember I told you I went to that one address in Manhattan, right? So now I'm working in Jersey because I live right on the Jersey border, right? So I'm about 10 miles south where I live, but I'm working in Jersey.
Gas is cheaper.
Yeah, it is.
And they pump it for you.
Yeah, you got to sit there and wait. There's the impatience. Like, you son of a, get over here now. But so I read this article in the Bergen County paper, and it's talking about how they're investigating these cab companies. And there's the address that I dropped the stuff off in Manhattan, right? I'm like, oh my God, right? So I call a reporter. I tell her, hey, you know, I tell her the story, right? Anonymously. And she says, well, what cab company you work for? I tell her, she's like, wow, they're on the list here. I didn't put them in because we're over here. So the next day she writes this article in Bud's Taxi, his headline, right? And we knew that the guy was, you know, a criminal and everything, right? So I post the story at night. He comes in like later that night. Who the hell put this up here, right? And for like a week, boom, boom, boom. So now I knew I was leaving. I was moving down to Florida, right? So I knew I was leaving like beginning of like July. And I always joked around. I don't care what happens to this cab company as soon as I leave. I just wanted to stay up until the day I leave. This is the God's honest truth. I worked the Wednesday night dispatching, so you get off in the morning, like 6 o'clock. You get off there. The cops raided the place that day at 9 o'clock. I mean, somebody must have thought if they knew what I did, like I knew something about it, right? But I did. The feds, the post inspectors, the state police. Don't play. That's what they nailed them on everything, right? So they raid the place. So now, I go home, I sleep during the day, I go out that night. Next morning,
so you didn't know it?
I didn't know anything until Friday afternoon. I go down and pick up my last paycheck, and I'm in the store to buy a soda, and I look down and big headlines in the paper. There's the owner's son being brought out in cuffs.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God, man. I went down there, and they were handing out checks, but they said, we don't know if we're going to survive and whatever. And I said,
they did hand out the checks, though?
Yeah.
Wow, boy, talk about lucky, man,
Well, they didn't want these guys to start fucking talking now. Now you got to do
they
right
don't know
by
anything. But they didn't know anything.
Like you knew enough to tell him that he fucking dropped off the paperwork.
Yeah, but my point, but he didn't know what he dropped off. Mm-hmm. It could have been anything, unless he did know.
You don't know what you fuck somebody, all of a sudden they're making up a story.
We know that, obviously. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you know what I think of when I think of taxis, of course? And Mark, actually, a friend of mine, from our childhood, Mark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He told us about you. I said, I fucking love that. We got to bring him on and have some taxi stories. I kept thinking of the show Taxi.
Oh, what a great show.
With fucking Danny DeVito and Judd Hirsch and the whole fucking, the guy, what was he?
Yeah, he was the best. The guy was Chris, whatever his name was.
Chris something. He died. Yep. So did the other guy.
Wasn't the guy from that...
the Mexican guy, what was his name?
Three's Company was in it?
John Ritter, no, he wasn't in that.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah. Somebody who looked like him.
Yeah, no, they had
Yeah, I know
Danny
who you're talking
DeVito, Judd Hirsch were the two main characters, and the girl Elaine. I don't know who.
Yep.
But I used to sit and it wasn't like that because you keep talking about a dispatcher in it. And
So
did
it was,
you go
but,
in?
Yeah, you spent a lot of time at the office, and that's where you get to know the other drivers, and that's where I say some were absolutely out of their minds. This one guy, he was a big guy, slow, probably like 6'4", and always staring out, and just a slow moving guy. And he's telling me the story the one time. He said, "Yeah, I spent a year in Rikers Island." He says, "I live down in the Bronx." He said, "I'm at a club, and there's this guy who had, grabbed my sister one time." So I go up to him in the club, and as he's talking, he pulls out his knife, and he goes, "And I just stabbed him." And on the third stab, I said, "Oh, it's the wrong guy."
Oh, that's fucking crazy.
That's a crazy motherfucker right there.
Yeah, well, he lost it, and poor guy, I'm
Yes.
sure.
So did he go find the right guy?
I don't know if he ever got him. But then the funny thing was, one time, got in a spat with some guy. He calls for the cab. He's on a payphone. Now I pull up. I'm like, let's go. Yeah, wait a minute. I'm on the phone, right? And he's arguing with someone on the phone. So I gave him like 5 minutes. I go, buddy, let's go. I'm on the phone. Fuck you. I'm going somewhere else, right? So I drive off. He comes back in about 20 minutes later in the office looking for me, right? He wants to fight me, right? So we're, arguing. We're sizing each other up. We're looking around like this. And I see John walk behind the guy, and I'm like, oh, fuck, man. And I see John reach in his pocket. I'm like,
oh,
no! I'm going to stab this freaking guy, right? So I'm like, John, be cool. And then the dispatcher came in. He was a big guy, and everybody knew him in town. He calms the whole situation out. I go, John, what were you going to do? He goes, if he swung at you, I was going to stab him. And I'm like, oh, my God.
This fucking John guy's dangerous.
Yeah. And was there any qualifications except having a clean license? Did you have to have a
I
clean
didn't know if
license?
there was a clean license. It was just, could you speak English and drive? I mean, they took your license. I don't know if they... I don't know what they would do if you didn't have one.
No, I'm wondering how, today, how a cabbie or Uber works. Uber's the new cab company.
They make sure you have a specific type of car, that it's clean. There's a whole lot that goes into it.
No, there is. Yeah, Uber does. And obviously, because you get an Uber XL, you get an Uber whatever it is. And because whenever I go to DC, I get the big black one. So they think, okay, maybe
the president's rolling around.
Yeah, no, not president. At least somebody, get out of their way, the fucking... But I just love Uber has really changed the game because it's on your phone
for sure.
I'm
okay with it because
absolutely,
the whole medallion thing's bullshit anyway.
I think that medallions became, everybody out there doesn't understand. New York, you had to have a literally a license.
Every major city.
Oh, is it every major city?
Major
Okay.
Yeah.
They have what they call a medallion, and they have to put it up, and that person's supposed to be vetted and everything else, and they're licensed.
Insured, licensed.
Absolutely. But what they've done is corporations came and bought 500 of them. Yep. I mean, megacorp for millions and millions and millions of dollars, and then they lease them. Yeah. And it's a business. Yeah. I don't know, what goes on now because guys would try to buy one. It's like a big deal. You bought your own medallion.
Imagine buying one for $2 million, whatever.
Yeah, now
it was,
it's worth 125 or some shit.
Yeah. And you start working next year, and they're paying it off because it's a loan, just like any other thing. Yep. They're paying it off, and all of a sudden, fucking Uber comes out.
Yeah.
That killed the industry.
Oh,
it
fuck.
Really
and these are people living paycheck to paycheck. You ain't driving a taxi if you're rich.
Nope.
Right. No.
Well, I was the one exception. But.
All right. It's because he stole more than everybody else.
It's because he knew guys like John,
Yeah, they were doing hits on the side or something. Yep. That's a good question. Did you kind of know what you can make, or did you? I mean, let's say you knew going on vacation. I got to make more money. Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, I mean, you would work as late as you could. Put in the hours. Like I started out, I worked 5 nights a week, but I had a full-time job, and you're working like 6 o'clock till midnight. So I would change the hours once I get a little bit better. I just work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday I would work all damn night. So you'd be super tired, and then you also develop your regular rides. Like I had one guy on Friday. He told me, listen, I need you in here at 5 o'clock because he would do a drug run. He'd go down and pick up coke in Washington Heights.
All the way to Manhattan from Rock. And that's got to be a lot of money for them, right?
So it was like $38 to the bridge.
How did you figure it out? I mean, $38. You guys are a cost service.
Yeah, no, we would have it all priced out. Like if you're going to Spring Valley, it was $12.50. If you're going to cross the bridge. So it was $38, and that included the toll, right? If you were going to cross. It was like, I don't know, 33 if you just went down to the bridge or whatever, right? So this guy would go up. When we go right in there to the Dominican section, it was, maybe 2 blocks west and whatever. And you're there for the most part, you're there and it's still sun up, right? Now, the thing was what the cops would do, because, New York, New Jersey, you had the Port Authority police. So what they were trying to do, because those were the Dinkin years, and the cops felt so defeated. So what they would want to do is bust you coming across the bridge with your drugs. Now they got you for interstate. They got you for possession
Oh,
in
fuck.
New Jersey, New York would trump some charge. You know, you're screwed, right?
Feds are involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they can be.
Cross state,
yeah.
cross state.
They can be if they
Right.
want.
Yeah.
That's the Hobbs Act.
Or the federal, you know, but Port Authority police have jurisdiction in both states, right?
Right.
So what I would do, because I was familiar with the Bronx and everything, is we would take the bridge over, and he'd buy his drugs, and you were actually safe in that neighborhood. You know, I mean, a lot of times your antennas.
Oh, you
up.
mean the cabbies are?
Yeah, because if you were buying drugs, the drug dealers have people on the street, nobody would mess with you, right? Because then their business is screwed up, right? So you were safe on the street and everything. So I would take it and I would go out to the Bronx and go across the Tappan Zee Bridge. So they wouldn't bust you on that. They're like, we'll get the next clown coming over from Jersey and we'll bust his ass, right? So that's why he liked, and that was a good run for me because now that I charge him 38 on the way down and I would get half of that.
And then 38 on the way back.
Well, and I'd cut him a deal like, since, you know, I would get half, it was like $25-$30 for the way back. Plus he gave me a tip.
Yeah, so it was a nice little,
Yeah,
you
so
know.
it was a great way to start out the night, man. You're all paid, and then you get in and
Once
just
a week?
Yeah. So that was every Friday.
What were airport runs?
I mean, they were around $50 from up over there.
Wow, back
you know?
then,
Yeah.
you got to be crazy. You think about it now, because I know
that
it.
included the tolls, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Going all over the
Yeah, when
place.
you're going to JFK or
Ever been to 125th Street in Lexington?
I dropped.
You know,
the
that's where
guy
the
off-
heroin was and
I
shit.
dropped the guy off there on one night. This crazy guy picked. He didn't know where the hell he wanted to go. Right? I'm going down to Manhattan. I'm going over here, right? And he was so jumpy and jittery, you know. And I was a clean cut guy back then. You know, I look somewhat like I did now, you know. And probably 25, 30 pounds lighter. And they'd always get in the
I
car.
know that feeling.
Yeah. And they'd be like, "Are you a cop?" No, bro, I'm not a cop. You know, if you're a cop, you got to tell me. And I'd always go, "That's not the law." But I'm not a cop.
Fuck with 'em.
Feed right into their fucking
Oh,
shit.
they're paranoid. Well, we had Mark a little bit fucked up that night.
We did.
We did. You know, Mark, my buddy.
Yeah.
So we had him fucked up. But so you go there on these drug runs. Did you ever worry about, like, again, somebody leaving something in your car? Now you're responsible for it. It's something, you know. Let's face it. Like now in today's world, if a young person gets in a car and there's drugs in that car and cop pulls it over and then
Whoever owns the car.
No, everybody who's in the car.
Oh yeah, so it used to be that unless somebody did it.
Unless someone takes ownership.
I mean, if I'm driving the cab, you know, the cops would usually. I mean, like I'd let people drink in the car when I drive, and I'm like, listen, I'm sure I can bullshit my way with a cop that, hey, I'm the cab driver. We're just doing this, you know. And most cops, even nowadays, I think they're pretty reasonable, right?
Well, New York did again. They're a lot different, I think. In
They
New
got
York.
bigger fish to fry.
They really do.
Well, they're a lot different in New York City too than because, like you said,
right.
they pull you over. You know, and the funny thing was, like when I lived in New York and I was a kid in the city, you tell the cops to fuck off, they take it, right? You go to these small towns, you tell a cop to fuck off.
Yeah, you're getting a beating.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our
Throwing
share
a
of
fucking
beatings in the
beating.
Bronx too,
Yep.
though. You know,
Well, we had
and
one
they used to
car.
take our money.
Right.
They rob us.
Right.
Yeah.
They did you a favor by not arresting you after they beat your ass.
I'm not kidding you.
That's true.
Yeah. They used to play cards and they'd fuck come and take the money and get the fuck out of here.
You ever been slapped by a cop and feel like he was doing you a favor? I've been there.
Not
Well, that-
slapped. I've been fucking punched. You know.
A slap is just a generic term
Yeah.
for getting hit.
You know, it's funny because cops there New York cops are funny. The city cops. They'll take their belt off, put it in the fucking car, and fight you.
Oh yeah, I've seen cops do
You
that.
know, I've seen it many times.
Yeah.
So my dad, he was a cop, retired after 26 years, and he was in the 34th precinct. And he said that's what would happen, you know, because back then you didn't even have the radios. You know, he's walking the beat in Harlem, and he said, you know, in Washington Heights, and he said you would get that. You get your ass kicked by some guys, you know, they jump you. He said to go back to the station house, and that's what everybody do. They take their shit, they go up to the bar where those guys were. You go in there and just beat the fuck
Now
out
I'm a
of them.
civilian. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
there's
no,
15
yeah.
of us walking in a bar and beat the fuck out of the 12 of them. I mean, that's the way you dealt with shit over there, you know?
You know, and I liked it better like that. You know, I mean, listen, you know, that's why I tell cops there when I teach, because I teach police academies, and I ask cops, okay, everybody in the room, who's never been in a fight, and the hands go up. I go, you
fuck are you
you're
doing
a
here?
cop and you've never been in a fight.
Yeah, what are you doing
That's
here?
why they shoot people. I mean, they're scared. They don't know what it's like to get hit in the face. They don't know what it's like to get, you know, have five guys on you, whatever it is. You're not going to die. You know what I mean? You know, it's not a murder here. And they get scared, and all of a sudden they pull a gun, and what are you going to do? Now his hand is, you got to shoot somebody or what? What are you going to do with the gun?
Yeah,
Pistol whip him? You know?
I think in the cop's defense, though, if you have a gun on you and you lose a fight, that's a big risk, right? Whereas, you know, if you're just out in the street, yeah, you get your ass kicked, you know, you deal with it, go lick your wounds.
Yeah, but I had guns on me too.
Back then, people weren't shooting people for the fuck of it.
No.
The guns were more for intimidation than they were for the shot.
Yeah.
Now I feel like everybody's shooting everybody.
But we had that in the Bronx. We had one cop car, 447. You didn't want to fuck with these guys. Right? Like I remember one time we're hanging out in the street, and two of the older kids come running by, right? And hey, the cops are after us, and they go running down this alley. So now the cop car pulls up. Hey, did you see two guys go by here? And one friend goes, yeah, it was one tall blonde hair, white T-shirt, blue jeans, the other guy wearing a red shirt. He goes, yeah. We didn't see them.
That's, yeah.
The cop just drives on, but like 447.
Well, what's he going to do?
Throw you a beating,
I used to run from the cops all the time. I ended up getting, my dad got me a Yamaha 100 Enduro motorcycle.
Oh.
And I'm in the Bronx here now. I'm fucking going all the streets, everything. I remember fucking coming down, fucking cops couldn't catch you, because you knew where to go.
Take the alleys, too.
Yeah, everything. We'd fucking go back. They have to go. But if they got mad at you, they'd fucking get a couple of cars and they'd fucking try to get you. Still couldn't get it. I remember once jumping into my fucking garage. So I opened the garage real quick. Boom, the bike is in the garage. My dad's just looking at me.
He knows.
Oh, of course he knows. He goes, then he goes, hold on. Open the fucking trunk. They're gone. But, okay, have you seen this? Because I remember it happening. Cops used to use cabs as either undercover or ways to catch people and doing something. They actually, the guy like you is the cop.
Yeah.
And they're doing shit. I
we
mean,
we didn't have any of that up by us, no.
No, not in that area. But they do that, and I know they do that in New York.
You undercover cabs and everything.
Yeah, they have them. I always wanted to get in that cash cab.
Yeah.
Cash cab.
Yeah,
the game show.
That. I fucking said, man, I love that fucking. Hey, we should do that on this.
What?
Do something. Do a cab, not a cab, a ride, Uber with a fucking trivia question. You make money.
That sounds cool.
Big video.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a fucking video about prison if they know questions about prison.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be fucking
what you
good.
should do is you go out to the local jails, not the prison. You go out to the local jails and you pick up the guys that go home.
What, for free?
Yeah. Well, no, not for free. Whatever they need a ride or whatever, and then on the way back, you ask them questions about their experience, and then you throw a trivia question at them.
No.
Because
they all they're saying is,
right.
listen, get me to the fucking crack house, will you, real quick? They
Right,
don't give a fuck.
I'm Johnson.
Especially jails. Jails are guys who do their bullshit time. They're usually junkies or something like that. And,
possession of drugs. And
the stupid shit. You're not getting a real criminal. He's getting out from the big house. He's not getting out from the county
these are people
jail.
that are in for a fight.
Right. The little bullshit.
Well, that's the fun thing. You ever go on that Space Coast Daily and they list all the arrests for the day?
Oh, yeah.
And you scroll down that, you look at the face, what were they charged for? Oh, that's definitely drugs. No, that's battery, and see how many you get right.
But, if you ever look in it, they put people in there, violation of probation.
Yeah,
you really fucking can't put anything back, I give a shit. Poor kid fucking violated because it was probably the probation officer who fucked him up. In part of it, he didn't report or he went out of the area. When I was on probation, it was so fucking bad. I couldn't leave the Middle District of Florida. I mean, literally. And the Middle District of Florida ends in fucking Sebastian, right over that bridge, Brevard County. That's the Middle District. It goes all the way up to almost Jacksonville.
Right.
And then it's kind of a weird, then it goes across the state and it goes down towards Fort Myers. So I can go there. But if I left the county, my asshole would say, you don't even leave the fucking county or you're going to go to back.
Oh, yeah.
And so he was like on me a lot, and I think they put their foot on people's necks too much. I mean, they got to especially what I was doing. I developed the program. I'm helping kids. I got judges using the program, police using the program.
Yeah.
I'm an honorary police officer, all that kind of shit. And he didn't give a fuck. He did not give a fuck. I'm recognized on the floor. Well, that was afterwards, but all the shit I was doing with the court system. I'm literally with judges. I remember telling him I had to go to a place down South Florida, but I'm going to be going with, I think it was Judge Silverman. I don't give a shit who you're going with. He says, you come here, I'm going to fucking think. You going to judge? What am I going to rob somebody with a judge? And Silverman has the bow tie. He was on our show. He's a good friend of ours. And he wears the bow tie and all that kind of shit. It's funny now, as a guy who's been on both sides of the law, call it that, all the friends we have, he knows that they're judges or fucking lawyers and business owners and doctors and shit. And then you got me, ex-con.
Well, there's a lot more to you than just an ex-con.
Well, yeah, you know what I meant, though.
Yeah.
They always used to say, Bo Malowski. Everybody can't figure Bo Malowski out.
Right.
Well,
the only thing that I could figure out there is opposites attract.
Yeah, he's a
Yin and yang.
leading fucking doctor, cancer doctor, one of the best. And we're just so close. You know, we vacation together, our girls. And
Best
wives.
friends. I mean,
yeah,
that's the way to describe it.
Yeah, and he's a sweetheart. Fucking, you know what he tells me? He's gonna fucking get on this. I hope he listens to this fucker. He texts me the other day. He's in Indiana with his buddies, and I know them too because they've been down here. We golfed with them, and he goes, "Larry, we want you to set up a guy's trip to the Keys."
Hell yeah!
I says, "You sure you want me to set that? Because you know what's gonna happen to my fucking trip."
Right.
It's gonna get wild down there. I love, and he goes, he wants to do it during Halloween, which is Fantasy Fest.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy. Man.
Oh, I love that fucking place, man. I'll fucking paint my dick and everything. I mean, they do all the crazy shit down there.
You're gonna paint your dick?
Absolutely. I'll be fucking swinging that fucking thing all over the place. I don't give a fuck.
I know that you're not lying.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I know that this is. Yeah, this isn't for the show, guys. This is for real.
Go back to your cabbies again. Have you ever got broken down and been there? Like,
So I had one time.
like these questions, ah.
So I had one time that they were transitioning the fleet over, right? So they had some of the older cars and everything. So I showed up there on a Friday, and one guy had a take home car, and he didn't want to give it up for the night, you know.
Wow. Why do you have a take on? What is he? You know,
he did his thing. It was an older car, whatever. And anyway, they're like, listen, the new cars ain't coming at the end of the day. Give him the freaking car, right? So this guy's pissed. They give him a drive home. I go out my first run. I got like up in Suffern, right, 20 miles away. I stop for something, and the car won't start. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm trying to do it. And the radio's far enough away. I finally get through to them. They're like, all right, we'll send the wrecker for you, right? Like an hour later, the wrecker comes. You know, it's the same thing. It worked for the cab company. And the guy shows me, he gets in the car, he goes, son of a, look at this, man. So there was a trick to do it, and the guy didn't tell me. You had to, like, the stick shift was on the column. You had to, like, pull this up all the way and then, like, hit the key a couple of times.
I know what you're talking about. I've been in cars like that.
Yeah. So this guy, fucked me over, didn't tell me how to start the car. So I'm like, all right, man, it's one of these grueling summer days out there, right? And he was bitching because he had an airport pickup at 5 in the morning. So I'm like, all right, screw it. My night's done. I drive the car back down. I park it in the lot. Pop the hood. I take out every fucking bit of Freon in that goddamn.
Oh, the Freon. So y'all making fucking way fucking.
He's gonna sweat bullets today,
And then
bro.
his customers gonna sweat. And everything. Oh my!
It's a window open day.
Oh,
That's hilarious, man.
I mean that's worse than like taking a spark plug out. Or
Hell
something,
yeah, hell yeah.
Now
Man.
he's got fuck. Oh, that's a good one.
What was the aftermath of that?
So I shut it. I leave. The next day I come in. And the mechanic comes up to me, goes, "You son!" Because I know exactly what the fuck you did, man. That was awesome.
Oh, he loved it.
The mechanic was like, I even made him
paid.
wait like 2 extra hours. I can't figure it out. I knew there was no fucking leak in that car.
He's doing a vacuum test on it, trying to find that leak, and he's like, "Fuck, this thing is bulletproof."
Oh, that is funny. That's a good one. That's actually real good. So you guys own that company owned its own wrecker?
Yeah. So he had a.
How big was it?
shop.
How many cars did this guy have?
For cabs, during the day, he probably had about, like, during the day, maybe 8-10 cabs.
Okay.
And then at night, he probably ran about 6. But then
Same cabs or no?
Yeah.
Oh, so he only owns 8 cars or 10 cars.
Yeah, but then he also, like, leased out other cars, and then they would come out. So, like, if you wanted to rent the car and you were in there, you would do that. If you wanted to lease a car for a month, he had the body shop. It was also a car repair shop and everything. So, it was like all under one umbrella, but that's what he would do with everything in a way to hide the money and float it and everything.
The guy was cash flow rich.
Here's another one. Who was he paying? The mob.
I don't know exactly.
He was
what
paying
family
someone.
he was
I can
in.
guarantee
I'm
that.
sure he did because now his son, I gave you the name last night. If you want to look that up, it's a funny story. His son did the exact same thing, and now his son's in prison. I think he was sentenced to like 15 years back in like 2012 or some shit. But now they're doing this in
You
New
mean
York
for the
City
same
and
thing?
Queens. He's doing the exact same thing. The
I mean, the
father
kid went
died.
to jail for 50 for that?
No, so wow, he stole millions.
Yeah, but
Insurance fraud.
But
I know, but 15 years in the feds?
It was his third time.
Oh, there had to
It
be
was like his
more
third
to
time.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I know the law good.
Right,
you know,
right.
I mean, that's
No,
just.
I mean, read the article. Like, he was parking his cars, and the cops are giving him tickets, and he's just blatantly disregarding the law. And like you said, he had other stuff going. Because I had heard that he was actually insuring some of the hospitals in New York and not turning the money in and taking that huge run off. And
Who
again,
the
I don't
fuck
know
uses this guy? I mean, like, you think a
don't know,
hospital would.
Was
you
he
know.
very charismatic? Was he
not
a
really. No,
trustworthy
no.
looking individual?
No, I wouldn't trust
Shady
this
as-
guy. This guy looked like a used car dealership, sweaty.
The guy that was responsible for it at the hospitals.
Yeah, he's
was
probably
in
just
on it,
shady,
man. This is
yo.
his buddy. You know?
Absolutely, someone's getting kickbacks.
It's a network,
Everybody's
exactly.
getting kickbacks. Yeah, and that always, you go back and you figure it out, and you say, and I with anything, money talks.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and everybody can be bought. I could be, you could be, everybody. There is a number. I'm not saying what it is.
Everybody has
but
one.
there's a fucking
Unless
number.
you got to bribe authority, then you go with something else. You find something.
Oh no!
else.
Usually you
can't give him
find a
money.
guy. You usually find a guy's cheating on his wife or some shit that he can't. It's going to cost him a lot of money or whatever it is.
Money in his job and the news and all that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you do. I told you back in the day when we used to try to get guys, and we had a few, and it was drugs usually or sex or something, and that's when you get. Then once you're in the door, it's a fucking cakewalk.
Right.
And then you're still throwing money because you want him happy too. You don't want him to feel like. The minute he says he thinks he's getting out, no, that ain't happening, buddy.
Right.
Remember that fucking, the broad? We got a nice picture of you and her,
They ever come to you and say, Larry, I think I'm done?
Oh, yeah.
Every
They go,
time
how could I get out was usually the question.
Keep doing what you're doing.
And I said, no, listen, is something wrong? Somebody investigating you? Something? No, I'm getting nervous. I said, stop fucking getting nervous and fucking keep doing what the fuck you're doing. The fucking nervous. You want to get nervous? Yeah. Nervous of me fucking doing, putting that extra fucking, 3 8-balls of Coke in your fucking shit that you buy every time. You know what I mean? Because half of them listen, everybody has something. I often talk about that.
Probably, yeah.
Everybody does. I don't give a fuck who it is. It could be, sex or drugs or something. And it doesn't have to be something they think it's bad. It's really not. Mm-hmm. That's why Benz and I laugh with me. I don't give a fuck. And, someone says, I know this about Larry. Okay. So?
And?
Yeah. Put it on. Make sure you call the right news because I want more publicity.
Right. It only helps. It doesn't.
Yeah. Bad publicity, good publicity.
Yeah,
no.
good news. Whatever it is there. You were saying like being pulled over by the cops and then being, like taxi show, you're hanging out with these guys. So one guy got the job at the cab company. And like I said, he drove like a maniac. So one day we're all going down to a Yankee game, right?
Now you're driving the people.
No. So now
you're in the cab.
We're not driving the cab now. He's driving. We're just going down, 4 of us, right? 4 friends. We're going to go down.
But in a cab?
No, we're not in a cab.
Oh, in a car.
This him, he's just a driver. So he's driving like an asshole. And we're saying, Greenie, drive right. You'll get a ticket. I'll tell the cops. We're going to a Yankee game, right? So now we're on the Palisades Parkway because the thruway was shut down. So there's all this crazy shit. And the parkways up north there. They got those little medians, and like every 2 miles, there's a emergency vehicles only can turn.
Right.
Well, Greenie decides, hey, today I'm an emergency vehicle, right? So he whips out there, and like 3 cars behind us is a trooper who just lights us right up, right? And we're all like on our second beer. So, oh, shit.
Even the driver.
Yeah. So Greenie goes, hold on, whips out into traffic, right? And he timed it right, so like the cop couldn't get out.
Right.
So now we go racing down. He's like, listen, I'm getting off the next exit. Everyone throw your beers up. We'll wait for the cop. This cop was flying up after us, right? He parks the car. And Greenie's saying, I'm just going to tell him on the way to the Yankee game. And this cop comes up. He says, boys, I am not amused. Right? And Greenie says,
State trooper, too.
Yeah.
They don't fuck in anywhere.
Yeah.
So
Greenie says, well, we're on our way to a Yankee game. He goes, well, I'm a Met fan. So we're like, oh shit, right?
That's great.
So he starts asking a routine question, and he says, hey, would you mind opening your ashtray, right? Greenie, I'm in the passenger seat. So Greenie slides open the ashtray, and there's a roach clip in there. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So he says to me, open the glove box. I look over the driver, Greenie. I go, is it cool? He goes, yeah, open it. I pop this thing open. I'm figuring there's nothing in here. All I see is freaking bags of weed, right?
Fuck.
I'm like, fuck. So I'm like, maybe it's his first week, right? No, go with it, right? And I'm like, screwdriver, flashlight, bag of weed, map, bag of weed, owner's manual, pen, bag of weed, bag of weed.
Do an inventory.
Did he bust you?
It wasn't his first day. I found that out, right?
Yeah. That's great. That's good.
So anyway, he winds up with the whole deal. Making a long story short, he grabs all our licenses, he runs us all, and he goes, listen. And I didn't know at the time, but New York had that law, 7/8 of a gram or under is a violation. Yeah.
It's
not even.
It's not even. Yeah, it's a ticket.
Yeah, it's like jaywalking, right? So he says, this is close. We're going to run it down the station. I'm going to weigh it out. If it's less than 7/8, you're free to go. If not, and Greenie says, man, it's all mine. It's all mine. So he says, okay. So he throws Greenie in the car, and now he's got all license, and he goes to me, you drive, follow me, right? Okay, and this cop takes off down the New York State Thruway. I jump in Greenie's car, and I'm chasing after this cop. And this cop's hauling ass down the thruway. He's doing like 90, weaving out, blah, 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 and I'm chasing right after him. I'm like, my buddy's like, slow down. I'm like, man, when do you ever get a chance to chase after a cop?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's
Reverse escort. I love it.
Yeah.
So it was just under, and he let us slide. I remember getting back out of the car and Greenie reaches in under the seat and pulls out another joint, which would have thrown
Oh,
him
he
under.
didn't give you the weed back?
No, he kept the weed.
They do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Fuck. You know.
What do you think that cop did that night?
Oh yeah, he smoked a lot of
He rolled
weed.
a fucking joint. He watched the Mets game, bro.
Yeah. Sure did.
He watched the Mets lose.
No, not now. Well, the Mets and Yankees are amazing this year.
Yankees
Both
are in a
teams.
slump. Oh my god.
Little bit of a slump, but I'm talking about the Mets and Yankees. They're really two teams that we could have a Subway Series. You know, that's the big thing, the Subway Series. You know, that's like, New York would be nuts for that fucking thing.
Yeah, it would be.
And we grew up with Michael Kay.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I heard that. Yeah.
He's the announcer for the Yankees, a big deal. But I haven't heard from him or anything like that. Yeah. So anyway, well, we got to do two things. Couple more questions because we're getting over an hour, and we're gonna do a couple more questions. What is the worst or craziest thing out of all the stories? What's the worst one? Maybe the one that got you either the most worried that something can happen to you. I hate scared, or something like, what's the craziest? Did a fucking guy, fucking blow his brains out in the back of your cab or something like that?
No, I didn't have that. I mean, one of the things was Margo Kidder. Remember that actress, Margo Kidder? She was Lois Lane. And
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she had a house up by there in Sneeden's Landing. A nice place. Al Pacino, Bill Murray, they all lived out over there. So, I guess she still had some money then. And, she would call us for like the stupidest things. She had me one time pick up her wallet and her checkbook at her house and drive it down to the Ritz-Carlton on Central Park South. Those are the crazy stuff. And then I guess, then she really started to get blacklisted because she had some issues. So one time she was in town and she asked the cab driver, hey, can we go back, down to my house? I need to get into my house, and I left my keys wherever. So he goes down there, and the door's locked and everything. She said, no, just break in, right? Now, we know it's her house, right? So Rick smashes the back window. He goes in, he grabs a bunch of shit, and he loads it in a car, and he's like, alarm's going off, and he's like, turn off the alarm. She's like, no, I forget the code, right? They go in the car. Oh. He goes driving out. Here come the cruisers down the street going there. She had lost the house, right? They went into foreclosure and shit.
Oh, really?
So she had him bust in there.
But it was her shit, though.
Yeah, it was her shit.
Yeah, well, so it was OJ's shit, too.
Exactly.
That's right.
No,
but they needed him.
Yeah.
But
they wanted him. They fucked him over.
Yeah,
but he really got fucked over. I mean, listen.
Well, the second time he did, yeah.
Totally got fucked. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, he was innocent in the first one.
Yep.
Well, listen.
No,
jury said he was innocent.
Exactly.
You're
innocent
right. Okay.
as far as the law is concerned.
Oh, yeah,
But the people didn't think he was innocent, so they went and got him, and then they threw the book at him for something else.
And they totally fucked him over.
They did.
I mean, that is I always, people say, oh, he deserved it. Now you're starting to say you deserve, listen, we know what we know. But do we know what everything? You know? I mean, I don't know.
So do you think OJ did it?
Personally, he's innocent.
Personally, he's innocent because you believe, but
you know how I am with the core.
No, I know that, and I respect your opinion. How about you?
I think he did it.
100%.
Yeah.
But you know what? Listen,
fuckers.
I mean,
I don't want you on my jury.
How about this? How about this? He did it, but he was innocent as far as the law went.
There's no such thing.
I mean, here's the thing: he did it, and that's why they.
If he did it, he would have been convicted. So he didn't do it.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Again, as a guy who does law for 10 years and seen crazy shit what the cops do.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, hold on.
The feds. And now, did the cops do something in this case? Obviously, the jury said they did something way wrong, or maybe put a glove, maybe didn't. Who knows?
Really? You think a police officer would drop something?
No.
They never do that. Here in Palm Bay, they never.
I had down south, I had a guy who used to sell drop guns to the Broward Sheriff's Office,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, I knew the sheriff. I got fucked over. I go to prison. Right when I go to prison, the guy that I was paying off, who was the head of the school board security,
we discussed his name, and he
Russ
fucked me
Cochran.
over.
Yeah, Russ Cochran.
Yeah.
That motherfucker was in my pocket. I mean, I used to pay him $500 every week. We used to break the school windows and shit, and then we'd fucking have bills. I mean, it was like robbery. It was great robbery. The motherfucker becomes the sheriff. I go to prison. That would have been it, man. He ends up going to prison. That guy, the sheriff of Broward County at that time, went to prison himself.
And that's
he's
the
dead
same
now.
guy you used to pow out with?
No, was that him or Ken Jennings who went to prison?
Ken Jennings. So did Russ Cochran, too. Yeah. Cochran.
Now, the thing about Ron Cochran, how he became was my dad told me.
You in Broward?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Where were you in Broward?
Yeah, I was. I lived in North Lauderdale for a bit, but Coral Springs.
You know, I burnt that whole plat. You know where?
Where was that one? Because
Do you know Kimberly and Rock Island Road?
Yeah.
You cross from the baseball fields.
okay, yeah,
You know that
was the
plaza?
Uh-huh.
There's a 7-Eleven. Then there was like a bunch of strip. There was a insurance company, a
A
beverage
four-way
store.
stop sign there?
No, that was on. Yeah, that was on Kimberly and Rock Island. But when you go up Kimberly, right there, you made your right from Rock Island, where City Hall was and all that shit.
yeah.
You made your right. Right on the left, there was like a 7-Eleven or some shit, like a convenient, quick, or a quick, whatever the bullshit is.
Yeah.
Then the plaza started, and it was my pizzeria. Next to us was like an insurance company. Next to them was I don't know what it was. Oh, like a postal store. One of those
Package
things.
stores.
Then the next to that was a beverage store, like like the regular beverage, the big one. And then next was a barbecue restaurant. So by mistake, when I burned my place down, I burned the whole plaza down. Yeah. And fucking, they all liked it because they made insurance money. I didn't.
There was an insurance company. They had a good policy,
and they didn't have a fake one like you guys had. But of course, North Lauderdale, the mayor. I'm the godfather of the mayor's kid. And he just died, and he was the longest serving mayor in the state of Florida, and I got him elected. Well, what we did was it's kind of rigging an election. You'd say can't do it. Back then you could. And he won by only 80 votes. And the guy he was running against, I don't remember his name, Gary Frankel. Gary Frankel lived there, everything. Well, I owned a security guard company and had PIs and all that.
What a fucking criminal that owns a security.
That's the best thing to have. You know that.
Sure, makes sense.
Well, did you read his book?
He knows that.
I have.
So what happened was it was great because I ended up fucking putting articles in the paper. He don't live here. He said he should be disqualified, and the paper's just eating it up. He fucking loses by 80 fucking votes. Fucking then Jack ends up becoming what they call a strong city mayor, which you know what that means.
No.
What people don't know, if you have a mayor like in Palm Bay.
Yeah, they're pretty weak. The city commissioner.
The city council, and they all get one vote, and that's it. The mayor only does the agenda pretty much. That's about all his power is. Gets a little more bucks or whatever it is. And I mean little.
Right.
Well, in a strong
4,000
mayor
a
like
year.
West Palm Beach, Florida, that mayor is the fucking running the city. He hires big money. He does everything, fires police chief. No say. I mean, they have a council. Okay, no. But I like him. He's hired.
He can veto it.
Now, he is it's called the strong city mayor, and they are fucking powerful.
And only certain cities have that.
Yeah, they have
It's in the city charter,
exactly.
right?
They have to change it.
Yep.
They changed the fucking charter to Jack having the fucking strong city mayor.
Wow.
Well, you talk about strong city mayors in Broward, but I think you moved down a little bit late. Did you ever hear John LaMello?
I knew John. Sunrise you're talking about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I knew John LaMello.
This guy,
yes.
you're talking about running the city.
Oh, yeah. Talk
This guy
corrupt.
from it. Oh yeah. My
I
brother.
loved them.
Yeah, my brother was
Back then, I loved them.
my brother was a fireman, and he had just
That was in the
started
80s.
there. Yep. And my brother said because they made it on 60 Minutes. LaMello. And my brother says, that old story, you're having a bad day when 60 Minutes is at your door? He said, knocking at the firehouse door, he opens the door, and here's Ed Bradley with his crew. They want to talk about LaMello,
LaMello, yeah.
LaMello was a trip. He was a guy, he punched a guy in a bar the one night. He told the bar, you could stay open late. And they're like, no, the city law says, I'm the police chief. So now the cops come. He said, I'm the police chief. Everybody leaves. So the cops all leave. Then he belts some guy at the bar. The cops got to come back. And 9 guys testified in court. He punched him. He gets up there to testify. He says, no, I never hit him. And the judge said, but we just heard 9 people say that. And he goes, well, I'm the mayor. Who are you going to believe? That was his attitude. It was
he was. I mean, this is Sunrise. You remember Spring Tree Golf Course, the little one?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So he had a deal. They put a clubhouse there. I don't know if you know. And LaMello had something to do with the money.
That's what got him into trouble.
Well, a lot of things got him in trouble. It was just that there was a development.
Well, the feds came after him.
Well, there was a development too, a building development. Yep. But back then, everything was corrupt down in South Florida.
Everything was.
I mean, one really
small
was.
Town, I think it was. I forget the name of it. Hacienda Village or some stuff. Was on the corner of 84 Alligator Alley and 441, where those two met, right? And there was this one city there, and all it was
Weston.
junkyards.
No, that's way out.
Pre-Weston.
Well, he said Alligator Alley and 441. That's right there.
Well, he's talking about 84, but
Yeah,
441 goes north and south.
All right.
So
it was a
it's
small
way.
thing. It consisted of maybe 5 or 8 junkyards, and there was a mobile home there. So what the mayor did in order to make money for the town, so your taxes were low, he made the turning lane. it was like close to a mile or some crazy ass thing. Now here you come off Route 84 and you're like, okay, you know, and then you realize, oh, I got to make a right over here. Well, they'd have the cops there. It was like 3 cops, it was the whole damn police force. And they just write your ticket. You went over a solid line. It's like,
big money.
Finally, they just ended it and they had to dissolve the whole city. But, you know, back to Ron Cochran, what you were talking about. So when he ran for sheriff, that was 1992.
97? No.
He ran 1992.
But he lost.
No, he won. I'll tell you why I remember so damn well.
I'm trying now my brain, because he was the head of school board security.
You know what he was. Larry's hashtag. There's a hashtag.
I'll never forget. We know.
Never forget.
Oh, okay.
That's why I'm trying to think of the year.
Yeah.
And
So in 1992, because it was Hurricane Andrew. So I moved down out of New York.
I was in jail. Okay. I ended up getting arrested off a cruise ship.
Nice.
Go ahead. for
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I remember you saying that, coming off in the cuffs and smiling at everybody.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Cochran's running against Nick Navarro.
Oh yeah.
Nick Navarro,
of course, I
he
knew
was
Nick
the
Navarro.
big, right?
Yeah, big job.
So my dad always told me before I moved to New York, hey, you know, you ever want a job down here? Just give me a call. I'll get you a job at the sheriff's office, right? And I'm like, yeah, you know, Dad's drinking again, or you know. All right.
Fucking great. This is good. Go ahead. We're going to do this story.
So I get down there and I'm trying to do any job, and I put an application in for Boca Raton Police Department as a dispatcher. I went up and took the test, scored the highest test ever. You know, if the written test failed the typing test, they give you a freaking regular typewriter. I'm going to be a 911 dispatcher. What am I doing? Fucking Barney Fife here or some shit, right? What? So I told my dad, I said, and he goes, oh, why don't you tell me? I'll get you a job at the sheriff's office. You want to be a dispatcher? Yeah, okay, yeah, if you can do. This is like Sunday night, we're drinking, right? The next morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, I get a call from the major of the communications of Broward Sheriff's Department. He says, hey, I got a call from the chief. When do you want to come in? I said, well, when's your schedule? No, it's all about you, sir. I go in the next day, right? He stops what he's doing on the phone. Listen, I got to go. I talked to him for like 5 minutes. He says, all right, go out there and see if this is something you'd like. I spent an hour out there, you know, with one of the 911 dispatches, do a couple calls. He comes out and says, well, you know, what do you think? I go, yeah, I like it. Congratulations, you're hired. Right?
Nice.
He says, now, you know, we just hired some people. Every 6 months we have some. You're in. We'll give you a call. I said, there's no application? No, you're in. Don't worry about it, right? So a week later, they had the election down over there for the primary, and Navarro was running against some clown, you know.
Yeah.
So Navarro wasn't even, you know.
He looked like a Spanish. He looked Spanish.
He was Cuban.
It was a Cuban, and he had the white head.
I got the name too, Navarro.
Yeah.
So he's not even like campaigning. He's going to crush this clown, and then he'll turn the jets on and go after Cochran, right? And what happened then was Hurricane Andrew hits, and nobody goes out and votes for the primary. They're all like, Navarro doesn't need our vote. He'll get in. Navarro loses by like 2,000 votes. And right away, they put a hiring freeze as soon as, like 2 months later when Cochran got it. He put a hiring freeze on because there was so much nepotism in the sheriff's office. So I was like, son of a bitch, man. You know, the
sheriff's department is so big there. You know,
now it has the fire department too.
Yes, they are. They both. It's called the just like Fort Lauderdale has its own.
Yep.
You know, the Fort Lauderdale budget for police, because I work with them, is $100 million.
Sheesh.
That's a police department that's got a city of 160,000, and because I did business with them, and they have 550 something, almost 600 cops, and it's but it's so rich because of Las Olas Boulevard and all that. I mean, you are talking.
There's money there for sure.
Oh, mega money there.
You know,
I lived just. I want to say I lived. I just moved back up here to take care of my mom. I was living down there. You know where I was living? Marina Mile.
Oh, really?
You know where?
That's nice. Yeah, on 84. Yeah, that's nice.
Well, it's 84 Marina Mile. There's a stretch they call Marina Mile, and you remember that. And I had a condo on the fucking dock. You look 100 feet out.
It was fucking beautiful.
100-foot fucking yacht. Right.
We used to go visit Larry, sit there, have lunch,
smoke
by the water.
cigars.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Great place.
I miss those days.
Rendezvous. The Rendezvous was down there when you were there.
The restaurant.
I don't remember that one. I was a poor kid.
Okay, you remember City Limits? Remember City Limits?
Oh yeah.
You remember Crickets?
Yep.
I had a piece of Crickets.
So City Limits. I had a friend of mine. He was a troublemaker. He got stabbed and shot there one night.
At Crickets?
No, at City Limits when it was still City Limits. Yeah, he was stabbed and shot. They said, he was stabbed like 30 times. They were like, any which of 5 would have been fatal in themselves, man.
Wow.
Yeah, he tried
well,
to
if you're going to do it,
do
right.
Yeah. Exactly. Right,
do it all the way, you know.
Why do half-ass?
What did John say? Well, you got to make sure it's the right guy, you know.
Yeah, was it John? Was it him? I think it might have been him. But, I still go down to Broward. I mean, my daughter lives there. My daughter still lives in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
She lives off in between Commercial and Cypress Creek.
Okay.
You know that area, right off 95. These houses, in my mind, are shit. But do you know what? It's fucking on the thing, 400 and something thousand for a fucking bungalow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking crazy.
I got to tell you, every major city in the United States, when I say major, I mean ones you would recognize by name, is becoming unlivable for anybody who has a regular paycheck.
Yeah, you're 100% right. That's a sad. Even
fucking
you
sad,
get
bro.
here. And people don't know
getting
it.
like that
it's
here.
getting like that
Yeah,
here.
it is.
That's the way it was. Yeah. I mean, we bought a house in Coral Springs in 93.
Oh, yeah, I had one that behind the Toys R Us on Atlantic.
Yeah. So I was right down. I was on Ramblewood right there by Atlantic Boulevard, right where they...
My
fucking world.
Yeah, my neighbor had a DeLorean. That's what it was cool.
Oh,
a silver
yeah.
car DeLorean. That first time I saw
When they
one
first came out.
Yeah.
Was that
in
before?
the 80s. So
I know. Well, that's when they came out in the 80s. Was that before or after Back to the Future?
We don't know. It could have been.
I don't know.
Because I see what you did there.
Yeah, Back to the Future. Yeah, that was a good one. I don't know. That's a good one. But, I never seen a stainless steel car. It was and the way the doors opened. I mean, cars. So, I mean, the DeLorean. And
those things were cool.
And, of course, he goes to jail for drugs. John DeLorean.
That was
to
Ab
jail.
Scam. But that was the same yacht. If you read Donnie Brasco... I think it was
I had him on my show.
Oh,
I did an interview with fucking
Hashtag never forget.
Yeah, I'm forgetting. I think I had too much to drink last night. Joe Pistone.
Yeah.
Joe Pistone was on my show, and he said he had the best interview with me. I had to I have a big RV here, so I took the RV down there, and it was so perfect, the way we set it up. We got to do that, get on the road and do that.
Sure.
And he had a ball. We were on a set. They wanted me to be on this show.
I just got an email last night from a listener who said, "What happened to Larry on the road?"
And he's right.
Remember we talked about that a lot early on,
that we got to do that. I'd love it.
We're still thinking about it. We just have a lot going on. That's
There's
my answer.
so much with the cigars, with everything we got going on. But anyway, I want to say thanks again, man. You brought back a lot of memories. Obviously, you do.
Good. Yeah, I enjoyed reading your book. Brought back tons of memories.
Oh, especially the beginning had to really open your eye. I mean, it's the Bronx. It's the way we grew up, and we're the same age, so it's exactly.
Yeah, you're a little bit older, but
70 fucking days. Now,
you old man.
I consider a year the same age.
Yeah,
if you're 59 or 61. We're all the same age.
I agree.
I mean, I do that anyway.
I agree.
Can't get
I
much
think
closer
that
than
gap gets smaller and smaller as you get older too. A 2-year-old and a 4-year-old have nothing in common. A 4-year-old and a 12-year-old have nothing in common.
Yeah.
But as you get older, like a 25-year-old and a 35-year-old, no difference.
That's why it's okay. When I married my wife, I was 31. She was 19. That's pretty close.
31 and 19, you cradle.
Well,
robber.
I didn't. I married. I think I married her 2 years later. But we started. No.
Well, you were a robber, so you robbed the cradle too.
Well, you listen to me. It was easy to get a ring.
He got a nice ring, I'm sure.
Yeah, well,
I'm surprised you're not Mormon. You had a few lines.
I was pretty bad one time. I was. But anyway, again, thank you very
Pleasure,
much,
Larry.
man.
Great
Bobby.
meeting you. Great talking to you.
Yes,
had a lot of fun.
We did. This is a lot of fun. Benz, anything to
Pleasure
report
to meet you,
here we
Ben.
got
Good
going
job.
on?
If you're not on Discord, get on Discord. If you're not following us on Instagram, at Real Larry Lawton, at that Benz.
And what's Jason
I don't
after,
fucking
sir?
know. He doesn't know his Instagram name. Believe it or not. I know it's so sad.
No, he just smokes a lot of weed.
That's what it is. It's not that sad.
They do the after hours show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought maybe he caught my cold.
No, you're great. We had a lot of fun with you. Thank you very much. We really did.
Had fun. Great
Everybody,
talking to you.
listen. Check everything out. Like Ben said, in the stuff. We got a lot coming up. We got we just did the 100th episode. So now you're going to hear more and more about it. So that's coming up. We just didn't have time to do a lot today. So Benz is really running a few things. The cigars here in another couple weeks.
I mean, listen, pre-orders are around the corner.
I mean, fucking around the corner. So it's
yeah.
a lot of fun. And the cigars are great cigars. It's called the Crooked Diamond. So everybody
try one, yeah?
Yeah. If you smoke it, they really are. And I'm not just saying that. And he's a cigar guy. He's not saying it either. Have a great day, everybody. Please make good choices. We don't want to see where I was. Have a good life, though. Make good choices, and we'll see you next show.